So let's have our own pre-debate debate now. Mustafa Tameez is a Democratic strategist and Bobby Eberle is a Republican strategist and US talk show host. So, Bobby, what does Donald Trump have to do to win tonight in your view as a Republican?
Well, basically, all he has to do is show up because, your poll was amazing. That 84%, I was really impressed with that. But over here,
They mean
people are
they think
looking at
Trump will win the debate, by the way, not the whole presidency.
exactly. Yes, exactly. But that's the whole thing is that people have their eye on what is Joe Biden going to do? What's he going to say? Because over here, he's so limited on his public appearances. He doesn't take questions
But do you
at
know what
press
I think the
conferences.
strategic error may have been, though, for Trump, Bobby, is that he set the bar so
What's that?
low. Well, he set the bar so low. I mean, he's spoken about Biden having mental issues. He's spoken about the fact that he might be on drugs. So the problem is, all Biden really has to do tonight, surely, is turn up, sound articulate, and not make a major gaffe. And that's partly because Trump has set the bar low.
Well, I think the media too has set the bar low. They aren't expecting much from Biden. So I absolutely agree that if Trump stumbles somehow or if he gets twisted, Chris Wallace gives him some kind of gotcha question, that's what the media will be keying on. But I think President Trump is seasoned enough to go after him. And what I'm looking at is how does Biden react to the questions? Not so much just listing off a fact or a figure, but when he's confronted, something that he's been avoiding, how is he going to do? How is he going to, is he going to look rattled? Does he look like he's ready for prime time? I think that's the thing to really take away from it because he doesn't have the issues to run on. What he's trying to run on, the president can deflect those and defend those, I think, very well. But how does he react in the one-on-one confrontation that you showed in some of your clips with Hillary Clinton and President Trump? I think that's going to be key.
Mustafa Tameez, Democratic strategist, same question to you. What does Joe Biden have to do tonight to win the debate?
Well, similarly, if you just think about the optics, we are standing inside Cleveland Clinic, a premier health organization in the world, in the middle of a pandemic where 200,000 Americans have lost their lives. And the United States leads the world in deaths and in cases. And President Trump has squandered any I'm lost of words because it saddens me to hear this conversation when we have the President of the United States who has fallen so flat on his face in terms of managing COVID-19.
Okay, but my question is, what does Joe Biden have to do to win the debate?
He just has to show up because Donald Trump.
Okay, so you both think your respective candidates just have to show up to it.
We're walking into a situation where the President Trump's tax returns have come out.
Yes,
and we've
and I want to come to the tax returns in one moment.
Oh my God.
But just sticking to Biden though, Mustafa, your candidate. Are you a little bit nervous? Because we have seen some of his performances, even just reading the auto cue over this campaign, where he has looked a little bit slurry. He doesn't necessarily seem to always be totally with it. He's skipped certain words and that sort of thing. Obviously, Trump is trying to get his old moniker for Joe Biden back, Sleepy Joe. I mean, genuinely, and this is a genuine question, are you worried about Biden's physical performance tonight?
Not at all, because the conservative outlets, starting from President Trump, have tried to paint this picture of Joe Biden being out of shape. And Joe Biden's out there in visuals on Fox Media driving around on a bicycle in fairly strong physical health. When President Trump is overweight, he has a tough time balancing. And so he has a big mouth, and he's able to use his big mouth and a big conservative outlet to create memes that really aren't penetrating towards independent voters and towards Democratic
voters. So it sounds like
voters.
both of you are going to go at each other's candidate's height. Health. Both of you are going to go for the other candidate when it comes to health. Obviously, a reminder, Joe Biden is 77 years old. Trump is 74 years old. Bobby, Mustafa raised the tax issue there. Of course, this big New York Times expose over the past couple of days regarding the fact that Trump, in 10 of the past 15 years, paid no income tax. In 2 years, including the year that he actually gained the presidency, he just paid $750 in income tax. Do you think this is going to be damaging for Trump in the debate? Because Chris Wallace has indicated that it will become part of the conversation.
Right. He mentioned that he was going to bring that up, and I'm sure they will. I want to touch on one thing first about this health of Joe Biden. The press in the United States, the left-wing press, the ones that are favorable to him, are getting frustrated because he often calls it a day at 9 a.m. He's not out there campaigning. The president is nonstop. So this whole idea that somehow Joe Biden has energy and he's willing to go toe-to-toe is just nonsensical.
But they're both old men, aren't they? They're both old men. I mean, that's a reality.
Absolutely. Right. And you have one of them that puts in a 6 a.m. to 1 a.m. day every single day being president, and another one that doesn't come out after 9 a.m. But as far as the taxes, what the story did not reveal is that there was done anything wrong. I mean, the president has tax deferments. He has tax incentives. He has depreciation. All the things that we can do within our tax law.
Maybe nothing legally wrong, Bobby. But
there's lots of illegal stuff in his tax.
But Bobby, Mustafa, before we get to that, Bobby, I just want to talk to you morally for 1 second. I mean, we read today, Donald Trump did earn something like £300 million over the course of his time on The Apprentice. But because of, you could call it clever legal accounting, some people might say it's something else. But the reality is that the year he was elected president, despite being a very, very rich man, he only paid $750 in tax. Is it really going to stack up with the American people saying, oh, that's clever, when you're actually in a situation where firefighters and nurses and teachers are all paying more tax than the very, very wealthy US president?
Well, Dan, we have to keep our terms. Let's keep our terms straight in what the New York Times was trying to reveal, first of all. And that is they're talking about President Trump's income taxes.
Correct.
Not capital gains, not taxes on investments or anything like that. MSNBC over in the United States looked at his 2005 taxes where he paid $38 million. So any person that deals in real estate and other investments like that are going to have years where you could actually claim losses and, again, tax credits and things like that. So I don't think it's really being clever. It's just, here is our tax system, and people they'd be stupid not to go by the tax law and try and get the least payment that they can. And for the president to do that, he's just showing, smart financial sense in taking advantage of that. I really don't think it's an issue because, again, you brought up the question that Chris Wallace will probably raise, is it moral or is it legal? It's definitely legal, and I think most people would applaud him for saying, well, that's what's out there, let's do it.
Well, let's allow Mustafa Tameez from the Democratic side to respond to that. So Bobby says, look, people are going to think Trump's clever. Why would you pay any more tax than you legally have to?
Let me tell you, it's completely illegal, and we're going to find out. But
that's not
think
proven.
About it this way. Let me tell you why. Right? President Trump has hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in loans. If he went to any bank saying that he's lost money every year for the last 15 years, who would lend him money? Either he's lied to the bankers or he's lied to the IRS. It's one or the other. So let's be very clear. On a practical matter, the President Trump has either lied to banks, which is then a criminal charges, or he's lied to the IRS. Michael Cohen has gone to jail for lesser crime than President Trump. All of the people that have worked for President Trump have gone to jail or have been indicted. There's a reason for that, because they all operate the same way that President Trump has operated. He's just gotten away with this so far. That doesn't mean he's going to continue to get away with it.
Bobby Eberle, I read a fascinating poll today, the results of a poll that said over 70% of Americans intend to watch the debate, but only 3% say that they may genuinely change their mind. So there's a very, very small pocket of undecided voters across the US. They're very worried about healthcare, for example. So does Trump need to do something specifically to appeal to the small group of undecided voters? Or do you think tonight his strategy will be to give more red meat to his base and ensure that his base turn out?
Well, Dan, that's good. And I think without even helping it, I don't think the president can help it by giving off the red meat. I think we're going to see plenty of that. But I do think he needs to focus on the three issues that the Biden campaign has put together for this year, which is coronavirus, the economy, and the violence. So coronavirus will play a big key. And what the president needs to do, because the Democrats and the left are saying, you're not following science. What the president needs to lay out is that every step of the way, he was either ahead of the curve, shutting down travel from China when the Democrats were blasting that, calling it xenophobic, and releasing information from his task force, which has the medical experts, saying, hey, governors, here's what you guys need to do. These are the recommendations. And then the governors followed it or not. There were some states in the United States that had no shutdowns at all, no masks at all. So there's a variety of things going on in each of the states. And the president just has to make that case that he laid it out for the American people.
Mustafa, final word to you.
The United States was the 19th country to shut down travel from China, for the record. And there were some Democrats that criticized for him, but it was the 19th country. President Trump has been behind on every single decision. That's why the United States has the largest amount of deaths and the most amount of coronavirus spread.
Well, that's our pre-debate debate. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens in the early hours of the morning. Thank you so much, Mustafa Tameez, the Democratic strategist, and Bobby Eberle, the Republican strategist and US talk show host.
Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.